Everyone, welcome back to 25 Sweetpeas. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this cute little cluster of ornaments. They have a very beachy-like aesthetic to them, and I absolutely love them. So all you need is an iPad, an Apple Pencil, and the app Procreate downloaded. So let's go. Okay, so as always for this series, I have a 3000 by 3000 canvas with the DPI set to 300. And today I'm actually going to go ahead and work on white as the background color, which I think is the first time we've done that this series. I am going to turn on the grid guide as normal, turning it all the way up so we can see the middle of the canvas, and we're just going to start sketching right away. This piece is super simple, super easy, and great if you want something quick to maybe put on a Christmas card. So I'm going to make a perfect circle using the built-in tools like the shape perfector. I don't know what it's actually called, but I love it. And I'm going to do two circles, one bigger and one smaller. And then we need to line them up. So I actually wasn't thinking this one through, and at this point I should have left the grids a little bit bigger, but I'm gonna kind of wing it here. I'm gonna select the two layers and I'm gonna move it up, and we want to make sure that the bottom part of the circle are both kind of like touching the grid guideline. So I can tell the little one needs to go up a little bit, and now they are pretty close. Like I said, I've got both the layers selected. That way I can move them both at the same time. And now I'm going to put them back in the middle, and then we'll be good to go. I've got the ornaments, I guess you could say, planned out. The next thing that we need to do is we need to erase the overlapping lines, at least one of them. So I want the big one to be in the back, so I need to erase its line that's overlapping with the other. So now it looks like the smaller one is in front of the bigger one. And I'm going to go ahead and merge those layers, and then I want to sketch in the part that you would hang the ornament from. I'm going to also have those be a little bit slanted as well. Actually, nothing else is slanted, so I'm not sure why I said as well. But I'm just going to sketch those in. I'm also going to put a little loop there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And once I've got that done, the sketch is really, really close to being done. At that point, if you want to add like any patterns or details to the ornaments, you could sketch them in, or you could skip that part and just get to the fun coloring part. But I am going to go ahead and sketch in the waves that I want to do, because waves are not always the easiest thing to kind of just wing it. So I am going to be doing those, but whenever I sketch those in, I am going to be doing them on a layer above the actual sketch. Now that I've got those kind of planned out and I'm happy with them, I'm going to go ahead and erase the overage parts, and then I'm going to go ahead and merge that with the previous layer. So every sketch element will be on one layer. And whenever I do that, I'm also going to turn on the multiply blend mode, turn down the opacity, and we are ready to get into the coloring portion of this video. So I'm going to add a new layer, pull it underneath the sketch layer, and get going. So I'm going to stick with a tropical like color palette, and for the wavy ornament, I'm going to do all shades of the same color. So I already have colors picked out that kind of like graduate or gradate themselves really well. So I'm going to do like the base of the ornament, all a really pretty turquoise shade. I'm going to go ahead and fill it all in as we would expect, even though part of it is not going to be seen. This will give us a really good basis, so whenever we're doing the actual waves parts, we can actually like use a clipping mask. So I'm going to fill that in. Now I have picked the next shade darker of the same sort of turquoisey shade, and I'm gonna fill in the first layer of waves. I'm going to go ahead and color that part in, and then whenever we're ready to add in the next color, I'm going to go ahead and add another layer underneath this one. So I'm going to turn off my sketch I'm gonna turn off the sketch so it's easier to see the part that I need to fill in. So let's do that. Next up, I'm going to add a new layer underneath this layer that we've just finished up. I'm going to add it here. It's also got a clippy mask on, so it only stays on the circle that we already have planned out. And I'm now going to color in the next layer of waves. You don't really have to worry about the part that's overlapping with the other ornament, but we're going to follow this guideline. And the great thing about doing it underneath the other one is that the top line is already made for us. So we're just going to fill in this section, and we're going to repeat this step for the bottom layer as well. Now that we've got all of those finished up, I'm going to go ahead and group all of those layers together. That way all of the wavy ornament are in a group and we can easily find them later on when we want to add some shadowing. So I'm going to put them in a group and I'm going to name it Wave Ornament. That's probably self-explanatory. But once that we've got that done, we're going to create a new layer above that group. I'm going to grab a green shade and I'm going to do the next ornament in a green shade. And this one, like I said, or like you guys can see from the sketch, this one isn't going to have a pattern. It's just going to be a solid color. So once you've got the circle to the shape that you like, you can fill it in completely. And then we'll be adding some shadowing to the edge. So now we've added a new layer on top of the green layer. We've turned it onto a multiply blend mode, and I have colored on the side of the ornament, and now I'm just going to blend it out so it kind of gives the illusion of it being a round ball. And then I'm going to add another layer on top of that, and I'm going to leave its blend modes alone, and I'm just going to grab a pure white shade and give it a little shine line, and that ornament is basically done. So I'm going to group all of those layers together, rename that group, and just put like green ornament or just green, whatever you will know or you will recognize as it being the green one, not the other one. And that one I'm pretty content with. So I'm going to close all of the different groups that I have open, and I'm going to add a new layer and put it at the very bottom of all of them. And now we're going to put in the gold parts of the top of the ornaments. So I'm just going to follow the sketch guide that I have, which I know you can barely see, but I have the opacity turned really down, really down low. And I'm just going to add that. I'm going to turn an alpha lock on this layer when I am done filling it in with this bright gold. And I'm going to then go in to the color panel. I'm going to turn down the brightness and turn up the saturation. That way I can add some shading to this as well. So I've also turned off my sketch. That makes it easier to see. So right now I'm going to go in, like I said, turn down the brightness, turn up the saturation, and just add a little bit of contrast on the sides of the ornaments. That way, again, it makes it look a bit more rounded. You can also choose to blend it out or not. On this one, I kind of liked it not, but then I also felt like it needed to be blended because that's just how I roll, apparently. And whenever you're done with that part, you can also add a shine line to that gold element. For that, I don't make it a stark white. I actually go ahead and just really turn it down to like a buttery yellow shade. And I'll just put a shine line on one side. And then that is basically it for all of the main elements. The next part that we want to do, I will go over when we get there. So now it's time to add some shadow. So I'm going to go to the wavy ornament layer, and I'm going to go ahead and merge everything there, add a new layer on top of it, and turn on a multiply blend mode and turn on a clipping mask, so whatever I do on it stays on the ornament that we already have made. So clipping mask is on, and I'm just going to select the same colors of the ornament that I've like used already, but because the multiply blend mode is on, it will deepen the color for me. And I'm going to change the color as I move up the ornament so it matches the wave that it's on and just deepens it. And at this part, it's going to look a little like precarious. I'm also going to add a little bit of a shadow behind the green ornament since the green ornament is in front. And then whenever I am done with this part, I'm going to use the blending brush or the smudge brush and blend that out just enough to give that a nice little shadow like appearance. And then whenever you are happy with that, you can then add another layer on top of that layer and give it a nice little white shine line like we did on the green one. Next up, it is time that we give this whole piece a little bit of a shadow. So I'm going to add a new layer, select a gray color, and this new layer is at the very back of all the layers that we've already created. And I'm going in with a gray behind or underneath the ornaments, I should say. And I am just blending that out to make it look like the ornaments are sitting on some sort of surface. I'm going to turn off my grid guide, and that is basically it. If you want to go in, you can add more texture to the background like we've been doing in all of the previous videos. So I'm going to go ahead and add another layer, turn on that multiply. Actually, I'm not going to turn on the multiply blend mode because we've already got a gray selected when we're just working on white. I'm going to create that nice little textured background. And that is it for this piece. I really like how this one turned out. It's a little bit different than the rest of the ones that we have done so far in the series, but I hope you guys really enjoy it. And if you guys do recreate it or you like change up the ornaments, I would love to see them. So be sure to post to Instagram using the hashtag that I have assigned. It is hashtag 12DOC2021, and I will definitely be checking that on a normal basis so I can see them and share your works of art. So again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!